Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. We're going to look today at impact with weapons. When we do kata, again, we're striking in the air. You can't really feel the feedback of actually hitting something. And in the same way that it's important to use the heavy bag, the makiwara, other striking devices, iron bags, BBs, whatever, to work on striking and feeling that impact. And I just had this discussion with my class that just left, that there aren't very many places where we really get to express maximum power into something. You can to an extent on the heavy bag, provided that your wrists and bones and alignment and everything is okay, which is why wrapping up with wrist wraps or putting the gloves on frees you up to hit with more power without feeling restrained by fear of impact. If you've trained enough to be ready to do that barehanded, great. But there aren't really a whole lot of opportunities to just wail on something. Wail? No, wail, W-A-I-L. To just wail on something. So the same is true with weapons. There are specialty Kobudo makiwara, or man like my wooden man dummy kind of thing, but 360 degree. They put samurai type armor on them so you can hit. I watched a great video that Donnie Hayher Sensei shared with me. I'll put a link below of a guy doing bow techniques flow drill on 360 on a Kobudo makiwara. Those are expensive. They take a lot of room. Not everybody has them. I know Howland Sensei's built a few different kinds. I still remember going to Franco Sanguinetti Sensei's dojo in San Marcos back in 83, 85, 6, somewhere in there, back in the 80s. And he had a really kind of a cool one that I liked. Sometimes it's hard to get those, and to an extent you can hit a heavy bag, but you have to be careful not to create tears in the bag with certain weapons, which has happened to me where I've struck, but this one's fairly solid and these are fairly flat, so we can do our striking. Now, the angle of the strike I might have to change because of the shape of the bag, where if I had a wooden man with some arms out and a leg or two or some other kind of torso and a head configuration, then I might be able to strike and work it at different angles, but we can still do that. And it's important because this is that technique where in the air that's going to come all the way through and around, but on the bag, the feedback, it's going to pop back and I have to reset how I'm handling the weapon to come through and around, okay, depending on what my strike is. So it's important to have something that you can work striking with, whether it's tonfa or bow staff, which is another one that we've done. Bow can be a little bit trickier sometimes as far as impact on the bag and causing damage to your bag, but it's still important to work with those striking techniques. Now, what about poking techniques? Well, that's where I like my little kime bag here. Kime bag moves around. I use this for spear hands and fingers and claws and other things, but it's also good for aiming to see if I have accuracy in my poking, or can I hit the target properly by extending my poking. And that will help build accuracy. I've seen some who have a board with a hole in it and they'll repeatedly aim at the board and poke that little hole, or hit a target but no impact. For example, I could go to my makiwara and hit, but I don't want to impact that with the tip of this, where with that target I can. But hitting something, I can feel that vibration come through. Now again, two things to be careful of. Number one, if you're going to hit something hard, make sure you have a good solid weapon. I've broken more than a few bow staffs over the last 45 years, even on a lighter bag than this, on a 45-pound, 50, 60-pound bag, because you're buying the cheap commercially made, not a high quality oak or mahogany or some kind of non-brittle solid maple, something that's going to not snap when you strike and allow you to put some energy into your technique. But having that feel of resistance will teach you a lot about when you're doing your kata, about how much power you can and or should put in your strike, and the accuracy with which you're striking. So, highly recommended. Same with nunchaku. Sai is going to be a little bit different. I would not recommend even sideways strikes with a sai, and obviously not poking. Kama, same thing. Any of the bladed or pointed or metal weapons, I would shy away from. Find a spare scrap of something or build something for a one-time use only. You can chop to death with your kama or go out, find a tree in the woods. There are ways to do that, but I wouldn't do it on these bags with the blade weapons. Same concept as board breaking, makiwara, bag punching, empty-handed kicking, empty-footed kicking, punching on a bag or makiwara. Same concept, needs to be practiced with your weapons as well. And as I said, I'll link that one bow video down below because it was pretty impressive. That's it for today. Hit things. Have some fun. Find out what it feels like when impact actually occurs. That's it for today's Seidokan Saturday. Thank you for joining. And until next week, as always, let's keep practicing.